Today marks 30 days since the federal takeover in D.C. That order set to expire today. President Trump on Tuesday saying the nation's capital now has virtually no crime, and he's promising to move to another city.
We're going to be announcing another city that we're going to very shortly. We're working it out. The governor of a certain state would love us to be there, and the mayor of a certain city in that same state would love us to be there. We'll announce it probably tomorrow, and it's going to be something where we'll do like we did here.
There have been some hints. We believe that city could be New Orleans, though nothing official yet. Live pictures of the nation's capital right now. Congress considering legislation addressing crime in D.C., also to decide whether or not to expand that order. NewsNation's Joe Khalil is in Washington with the latest, toured the area with House Republicans and the National Guard. What's the next steps here, Joe?
Yeah, we had this opportunity this morning, Marni, to walk around with some of the National Guard that are still here in Washington, D.C. This was a unit deployed from Louisiana. And we had that opportunity because there were some House Republicans that wanted to go out with them and just talk to them, interact with them. There were some exchanges about what their mission was, what the experience was like being deployed into Washington, D.C. Now, of course, the 30-day temporary takeover of Washington, D.C. ends today legally, but we're not exactly certain when the National Guard is going to be leaving. There has been no indication yet as to when they're going. And obviously, as you mentioned, we're keeping an eye on whether they're deployed to other cities and other states across the country, as the White House has promised that would happen. We got some questions in to some of these lawmakers, notably the Guard themselves have been talking about how many of them have been used in ways in terms of cleanup and beautification of the city. They've been deployed to areas not so much for crime prevention, but for things like trash cleanup. The D.C. National Guard put out a notice saying that they cleaned up 934 bags of trash, that they painted 270 feet of fence. They've completed 50 cleanup projects across the district. So we were asking lawmakers today whether they think that is the proper use for the National Guard being deployed away from their families, away from their states, and doing that kind of work in D.C. These Republican lawmakers told us, yes, they supported the Guard doing that kind of work. They say it is an important step in cleaning up and addressing the crime as well.
They do all kinds of roles. They set up and build hospitals. They build schools. They set up all of the logistics of an operation or a mission that they're putting together. So our military, just like the National Guardsmen who are serving in a part-time capacity, have a wide variety of roles.
So again, Marni, not exactly sure when the Guard is going to leave. If New Orleans, as you mentioned, is the next place that they are going, again, that unit we met with was literally from Louisiana. So whether they are sent back home in that case, we will find out soon.
A lot of movement, Joe, on this in Congress today, the topic of crime. What are the conversations lawmakers are having?
Yeah, conversations and also some action today. We do know that they're not going to extend this 30-day federalization. We know that much. Republican leadership has said they don't feel they need to do that because D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has committed she'll work with the federal law enforcement agencies moving forward. But today in the House Oversight Committee, they're marking up 14 different ideas, different proposals. These are bills that have been introduced. Now, whether any of them or all of them become law, that remains to be seen. But some of them would do things like lowering the age of offenders who can be tried as adults in D.C. It would let President Trump choose who the Attorney General and nominations to courts are. It would require that there be cash bail. It would also give Congress just generally a lot more control over how D.C. is governed when it comes to crime, when it comes to things like sentencing guidelines. That would be out of the hands of D.C. elected officials and put in the hands of Congress. So those are just some of the 14 ideas that Congress is going to be working through today. And we'll have a better idea by the end of the day which one of those actually stick.
All right, Joe Khalil in Washington. Joe, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.